So what is going on, you guys? We are back working on the race car. Now this video is probably not going to be a long one, not that much stuff in it, but I did want to show you guys that we are working on the race car. Basically the car had to sit for a while, and sorry if it's kind of weird, I'm actually in the middle of watering everything here, but yeah, so the car's been sitting outside and it's just had to. I'm going to move it up to my house today, and what we're going to do is, or what I'm going to do is, I'm going to sand some of the surface rust off of it, give it some touch-up paint, and then I'm probably going to put some trim restore on the decking just to make it look a little better. But first, in order for me to get up here, I have to move the rat rod. I may have to move some furniture up here, not quite sure yet, but I have to go change first, so I'm going to go do that. Joey's pulling in the driveway right now, and he's going to help me get it up here, but he's not staying to help me work on it, but that's okay. So we'll see you guys in just a second. So it's the first time back in the race car since I think we parked it. Trying to get it out of the shop right now, and we'll be on the road here shortly. So now we're on the way, headed up to the house. Joey back there driving, pushing us. You don't realize how hot it is when you're in a topless race car and everything in the cockpit is black. All the sheet metal's black. Quite toasty. We got a little bit of ways to go. It's actually about a mile from the shop to my house. So probably take 10-15 minutes to get there, but we'll get there eventually. Joey back there hitting the heck out of me. I guess it's kind of well deserved now that I think about it. But I actually feel like I'm in the lineup in Carolina. It's about the same. A lot of bumping and grinding going on. We're about to go down a real big hill. This ought to be fun. And down the big hill we go. I'm holding the camera with one hand. I'm steering with this hand. And I also don't have any power steering. Yeah, that's us people. This is actually kind of nice. Make sure you tear it up.
I ain't meaning to.
And we are pretty much home. Was only slightly painful, but time to get out, take Joey back to get his truck, and then I'm going to get started painting. Maybe. I didn't see any paint up here. Maybe a problem. So I've actually been up here for a while. I got my sanding sponge out, and it turns out a lot of this stuff that's on here, like in this cross member and whatnot, and kind of behind the cross member back here, it's really muddy. So we're going to wait to do a lot of the painting, rattle can job. We're going to wait to do a lot of that until we can really clean the car up, and then I'll come back and I'll sand down some of the rougher spots and then get in there and paint it. I'm not going to paint the whole chassis, just the parts that's showing metal. When I put this thing in here, I didn't paint it, and I don't remember why. I think I went on a lunch break after I did the welding and whatnot, and just never did anything. But using the sponge, I am getting a little bit of results here. This is a section that's not done here. This is one here. There's still some like spots in here that I'm gonna try to get out. I'm not gonna spend too long on it, but I need to get that done. And driving up here, my tie rod got even worse, and it's really more pronounced now that it's bent. But have no fear, we have us a tie rod here. We just got to fix it. So this will probably be a two-part series, I guess, getting it ready for the engine, but hopefully I'll be picking up the engine for too long. But with that being said, I'm going to get back to sanding and then probably some painting here shortly. So you also may be wondering why I'm actually using a sanding block instead of something like a pneumatic sander or something like that. The reason for that is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree, that working on my car is probably my best therapy for me. And that's why I got a sanding block. And for the bigger parts, obviously I'll use like a pneumatic tool or something like that, or maybe even electric sand or whatever. But in a way, this is like very therapeutic for me, watching kind of the rust disappear and whatnot. I know that sounds cheesy, but I do really enjoy working on my own stuff, and I don't really have anywhere to be tonight, so I'm going to take my time and really concentrate on some of these spots and get them out. Hopefully it'll look better. Got the worst spots that I wanted to get out. I do know to really get every single spot I do need a wire brush, and I will use a pneumatic tool for that, but I did want to get the big spots out today. I ended up getting them out, or most of them out. Other stuff again is just going to need a wire brush, but I have really enjoyed my time doing this, and now I'm going to start touching stuff up with paint where it needs it. I wiped it down a little bit with like some brake cleaner and I think a little bit of alcohol that I had too. Alcohol cleaner. Well, I have the other kind too in my house. But anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna start touching up with stuff with paint and see what it looks like. So one day, probably not this upcoming season, but the build season after that, I may totally tear this car down and paint it all to get one color, because that does irk me. Now granted, we are planning on painting here in the clip and whatnot. Today, this is all I really had time for, which was the front bumper and the rear bumper, but I'm going to show you guys real quick how it came out. So this is the front bumper now. Now that we got some of those spots cleaned up, smoothed out and whatnot, it doesn't look half bad. Again, this kind of paint job I was solely doing just to protect the steel. That way we don't get any more rust out of it and it doesn't weaken over time. Again, I would like to paint the whole car the same color, but for now, this is all I can do. I was more focused on my engine and whatnot, but I did do this just to clean it up a little bit. It may look like it's a different color black because it is, like up in here is kind of a different color. That's because it's still drying. Some of it's already dried. But that is the front portion that I did. And this is the rear portion here. The rear portion wasn't as bad as the front was, but it was still pretty rough. So we got that squared away and taken care of, and that's one less thing to do on the car. I would like to spend just a whole day just removing every little bit of rust, but I know I'm not going to be able to. I still have to work on these strut bars up here and here. A few little things in here. I would like to finish up this side of the frame, but that's going to take a little bit more with a wire brush because there's another pretty bad pillar right here, and I want to be able to get all of it in one swoop. But that's pretty much going to do it. I know this wasn't the longest video, but I did want to let you guys know that I am starting back working on the race car, even though it's April. But really, I'm just waiting for my engine to drop in. Everything else is ready to go. I have most of my body components. I am sending the car off to have a body put on it, but that won't take long. And as soon as we do that, even before we put any graphics on it, we're going to go test it once we get a body put on it. And we'll see what it does. We still need to wash the car, and I still need to put some trim restore on some of this decking to make it look a little bit better. But other than that, that's pretty much it. We're pretty much ready for the engine. And again, I'll take the time to clean up some of this stuff here. But that's all I'm going to do today. I've got some other stuff I need to do. But yeah, just letting you guys know, we are back working on the race car. There really wasn't much to do in the first place. I do need to replace this tie rod. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. And as always, we will see you in the next video.